Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm pretty excited about doing this little interview with my boy William. We're gonna talk about how his zeal for real estate investing, and also we're gonna talk about you know him getting his first deal, and and how he got started. So, William, I guess first thing first, I wanted to ask you, man, what made you want to get into real estate investing at the beginning?
Yeah, well, growing up, I was always interested in real estate. It's like
Hmm.
I hear a lot of people talk about the entrepreneurial spirit. I always had that kind of, I always wanted to be a millionaire one day. I always wanted to start my own business. My dad had his own business doing cement work, with just self-employment. He know nothing about a LLC or no type of corporation, but he had his own business, and
Yeah.
so just mentally, I think me and all my brothers just kind of thought like that was an option, to start our own business, because our dad always had his own business, he never just really worked for somebody for a long period of time, So, and I started looking at houses and stuff. I was always just interested in houses, like the building of houses and things like that. I used to see these TV commercials. That's my son, don't mind him. And I used to see like a lot of stuff from like Donald Trump. I used to see his real estate and seminars and things, and
Uh-huh.
I used to be interested, in getting into it, but I never did. So basically, fast forward that. Of course, I'm from Mississippi.
Oh,
I'm from
okay, from the
coast of
SIP, huh?
Mississippi. Yep, yep, yep. So first half of my life, from a baby until like around 12 years old, I was on the coast of Mississippi where all the casinos and things. That's when my dad had his business or whatever. Then
Yeah.
after that, we moved up to Jackson, Mississippi for the second part of my life, and that's where my parents still stay right now. So when we went up there, I got in high school. I got interested in collision repair, so I took collision repair in high school. Man,
Mhm.
I went to, so I did that in high school for 2 years. I knew everything, so I went to college afterwards. And when I went to college, I went for business, right? And
Okay.
after I went for business, I had just got out of high school, and I said, man, I'm burnt out. I said, man, I don't want to go through no more schooling. So I took the easy route out, and I went to college for collision repair. So basically, I wasted those 2 years of my life because I knew everything. I was just teaching the students, the
Wow.
everything, and you pretty much just wasting time in Mississippi, being like always being the poorest economy. I could never find a good job there. I went to a little what we call them rinky-dink shops here and there, and they don't pay great. One shop I was actually like losing a lot of money, and
Wow.
after that I moved down here to Texas. Of course, I met my wife, my girlfriend then, and I said, you know what, if the relationship is gonna work out, it's better for me to move down here, be with her, and then I'll go to school also. So I come down here. I went to school for um, IT, for networking and computer maintenance. So I did that, and I got out of school, and when I graduated, I couldn't find a job, and that's when it kind of hit me, and everything started coming back, because that was like the number two field. I think medical was number one, and then IT was number two. So I said, well, IT, I can't go wrong. So I
Exactly.
did that, and I was promised like high-paying jobs, like 86,000 a year at Goose Creek High School in Baytown, Texas. I was promised 140,000 a year at Chase Bank. Our old instructor, one of our old instructors, working there at Chase Bank, and also Exxon Mobil. It was the least like 55,000 a year. So that was like lowballing. So I
Hmm.
all fired up, ready to go. So I got my degree. I got my high paid certification, which both of my teachers had even failed. I really worked. Like, they used to laugh at me. They used to come in there. They'll see me on the computer. I'll fall asleep on the computer. I'll wake up and I'll get back to study. But I got my certification. To make a long story short, after that, I still couldn't get a job. And after I could get a job, it kind of hit me. I went through about 2 months of depression. And I started thinking about the whole thing. I was like, the main focus that I'm trying to get is money anyway. So I started studying the subject of money. Now, this is after I had already been interested in real estate and things like that in the past, but I never
Hmm.
really pursued it. And I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which a lot of people have, it was like, even right now, I consider it like the second best book in the world next to the Bible.
Definitely, man. That's everybody's number one, man.
And after I read that, man, it was a wrap. I started, one thing Robert Kiyosaki said, he said, if you don't know something about a subject, go study it. So he said, if you need to take a real estate class, go take a real estate class. So after that, basically, I started studying real estate for the next 2.5 years with some of his programs. And I've been through Jay Morrison Academy. I'm currently doing Fortune Builders right now. I'm pretty much all done with it. And
you paid to be a part of Fortune Builders?
Huh?
You paid?
Yes, I had to pay. It was about $5,000. It was a little jumpstart program. They don't tell you that at the seminar. They sell you on the I think they call it the mastery program.
Yeah, the mastery. Yeah, I bought the mastery.
Yeah, so I did jumpstart, and then I did Jay Morrison Academy. I did the guy that was just on the Breakfast Club, Mark Witten's, his program, which is called the Real Estate Money Club.
Mm-hmm.
His program. I did Scott. I forget his name, but he's another popular guy. I did his classes. So I did a lot of schooling,
Yeah.
And got into the analysis of paralysis. Also, Mad Paper Coaching did Rico Smith class out of Memphis, Tennessee. Because I met him because I went to a Jay Morrison boot camp also,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I learned a lot from each one of these people, and added. But at some point, I just figured, man, I got to get up, and actually put it into action and do a deal, So that's when I came about, and I was looking up interviews, and then I seen Byron right here on the interview. And I said, man, this dude right here in Houston, let me hit the dude up, man. So I went and found you on Facebook, and I hit you up. And then after that, I was already searching for deals and everything. And then after that, you was able to answer all my questions. You was in the market, so it made it easier. You was able to tell me which title company you used and everything like that. So
nice.
That it was history.
Nice. Let's talk about it, man. So tell me a little bit about how did you start your first marketing, and how did you find this actual seller?
Okay, so basically, before like a year ago, I tried my hand at direct mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I live right here in Wallaceville. It's a little country town right in between Houston and Beaumont. So I tried direct mail with just people around here. I think I sent out about 40 letters, and I got a good response rate. I got about 8 callers calling me back,
Wow, that's pretty good. With 40 letters?
Yeah.
What were they, pre-foreclosure? What were they?
They were just absentee owners.
Okay.
But I think around here, since it's like a country part of town, nobody markets them. Nobody asks about them. Probably why the turnout rate was so high. Mm-hmm. And after I got close to doing a deal, but I didn't do a deal back then. Then I had my firstborn, and now after
what happened with that deal?
Basically the guy, the investor that I was trying to sell it to wanted it for lower, but the guy, he didn't want to go past $50,000. It was an acre of land and a rundown house that needed to be tore down, but he was trying to make the money off the land. And I was just trying to, I didn't really know what I was doing. So
yeah.
I think the buyer one needed it for like around 30. So around 30, 35, something in there. I think he would have accepted 40, but the guy wouldn't go past 50. And I had to run in. I was riding around with him, and I had to run in with his children. They were like, "Pop, don't sell this land." So I had to deal with all of that stuff.
Yeah, man. Sometimes.
But that didn't work out, and I ended up having my first child, and then I ended up getting my own house. So I learned a lot from that deal too, getting this house, because I got it for a good price because it's out here in the country area, and the value up here is raising because the whole Houston area is really growing. It's really booming. But fast forward, I guess it was 2 years later now, or a year and a half later when this deal come about. So basically, I sent out a direct mail campaign, 1,000 letters, but I was waiting on that. So while I was waiting, I only had a week off of work left because I was on my maternity leave for my second child just here recently. So I had a lot of time off.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was waiting on the direct mail letters, I just started doing a lot of cold calling. So
Nice.
I don't know what it was, man. I prayed. I prayed. I said, God, please bless this last week better than the last whole month I've been off, right?
Yeah.
Talking about less than 30 minutes, man, I had a deal.
Wow. So where did you get your did you skip trace those, or how did you do that?
Yeah, basically I skip traced them, but I used a vacant house data feed service online, and it's a lot of vacant houses on there with a lot of numbers. Now, I wouldn't say the success rate is that great because I've called for at least 3 hours after that and didn't get anything.
Wow.
So, telling my prayer came true.
Nice.
Feel like. And,
so what did you use for your skip tracing?
I use Intellius.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, man. That's a pretty decent one. A lot of times they have a lot of older numbers on there, man. So we tend to use like people on Fiverr who have like better access to better numbers. So you want to definitely look into that too for some of your other stuff, like for TLO, people with TLO access, stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah. So tell me about this seller, man. What was the situation?
Yeah. So I called the seller, and the situation is to make a long story short, the mother had slight dementia, and the children live in California. They need to move her to California, so they moved her to California, and the house was sitting there vacant. And I guess that's the way it got on the vacant list.
Mm-hmm.
And I contacted the son of the lady. His wife, she picked up and she said, we do want to sell it. I'm going to tell my husband when he comes home. So basically I kept cold calling, and that's why I said I think I did less than 30 minutes and I was kind of done, for the day because it was late. I didn't want to.
Tell me this. Was this from your absentee list or just general? How did you get their contact?
From the vacant house list that I told you about. Some of them, they have numbers on them, so I don't have to.
I wonder how did they show up as vacant if they were, because she was living in it, right?
Well, no. At this point, she had already moved to California.
She had already moved. Okay.
Grass was kind of growed up, and the backyard was run down. You can tell she hadn't been there for like a couple months or so.
Gotcha.
So I called. So basically, the husband came home, and they called me back, and he told me to make an offer on the house. And I was trying to go through all of my script and everything I learned. He didn't have time for that. He was like, man, I don't want to hear all that. He said, just make me an offer. He said, you're going to waste my time like the other two that called me. He said, it's two other people that called me and they waste my time. They didn't make me an offer. I said, well, sir, I'll have you an offer in 10 minutes. I promise you. Just let me run my numbers. And then he said, all right, I'll be expecting a call. So after that, I ran the numbers based on I looked on Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
I looked Redfin. I looked on Trillia. I looked on a couple of other ones and just kind of got an average of the comps on there. I know it's not accurate in Texas, but hey, that's all I had.
Whatever works, man. I use Zillow all the time, man. And I have MLS access. I still use it.
Okay. So I looked at that, man, and I got the comps off of there, and I basically cut it in half. And I said the comps came out to be about 41,000. I said I can do it for 41,000. I didn't know if he was gonna take it or not. If he wouldn't have took it, I was just gonna go with it anyway because at this point I just wanted to get something on the contract so I can kind of the process and get that fear, down. And he took it, and then after that, I was wondering, man, what am I gonna do now? So then that's when I contacted you because I've been talking to you the past few days on Messenger or whatever. I contacted you and you told me to tell him 38. So after that, it was easy, because you feel comfortable when you got somebody else in your on your team, So after that, I just basically did whatever you told me, and the rest of it was a wrap,
Nice. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was a pretty sweet deal. And the cool thing was, so you was able to renegotiate that after, because we got it after so The issue with that was we had a buyer like right away. I mean, we have buyers right now that pretty much buy anything that we see. You know what I mean? We have that select few of buyers, and so we got that under contract like before you even had it under contract, before you even reduced the price, and then that particular buyer ended up not being able to buy because they had already reached their cap. Because I think at that point they were already at like over $500,000 in purchasing a property. So once they reach that cap, they have to wait, you know what I mean, for like a little while before they can rebuy again. So they had reached their cap. They didn't want the deal. They couldn't get the deal actually because they were getting another two of our other deals. So we ended up, having to put that back out, and then instantly it didn't take long before we had some more interest, because only thing I hated about it was that we had it sold before we had a chance to even put it out to our buyers. And then when our buyer told us he couldn't do it anymore, it was like crap. You know what I mean? Like, you could have told me this a long time ago. They had the earnest money ready and everything. Yeah. But it is what it is. So we ended up putting it back and running it through our marketing channels. And it wasn't long before we had another buyer, man. And it was pretty much a done deal. So tell me this, though. I know that you got a chance to talk to our dispositions manager. How did that go? Did you learn anything from him?
Well,
did you even have time? I know you were busy, man.
House. So I was supposed to go out to the house with him, the open house, and learn a lot there, but I couldn't. So basically, he just kept me on an update on what was going on with the property, basically. So,
cool.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. But as far as the first deal goes, it is very important because, like, when you get the first deal, before you do the first deal, no matter what, like, I kept believing in it, and like, I'm a type of person where I persevere and I'm gonna try to do something, versus most people like give up. But until you get the first deal, it's still a little doubt in the back of your mind that says, is this really real?
Oh yeah. Did you even believe it when I told you can come pick up the check from the title company? Did you believe it then still, or you still?
Yeah. Once the guy decided to go through with the 41,000, I knew it was real. So I knew it was real. But before that, I was kind of wondering, is it real? Does it really work? But so it was really nice to see that it's real.
Nice. I know the little one appreciated that big check you got over there, huh? Hey, tell me this though. When we did, because we asked you to renegotiate for a lower price after you had already negotiated the 38. Tell me how that went.
I didn't really know if they was gonna go for it, but I knew whether they went for it or not. I had it on a contract, so since I got the contract, technically they can't back out, so
exactly.
I don't lose. Plus, the dispositions manager, he was gonna do it also, but I said, hey, I know him better, so let me do it. And I didn't even have to talk to the husband. I talked to the wife, and she was like, you already got it at a discount. But basically what I pitched to him was the fact that we thought it was a 3-bedroom, but it ended up being a 2-bedroom. Exactly. So I think that's what sold it to him. I told him that in order to I told him we're going to lose money regardless because it costs more to build a whole bedroom. I told him, but in order to can you help us out by lowering it down 3,000? That way we can kind of break even a little bit, So exactly. That's basically what I told him. And because I think anybody knows that it costs a little bit to build a bedroom, especially because I told him we were going to do a master bedroom. But I think that's what helped it out and made them go down on the price.
Nice. Yeah. That was good. That was a good tactic, man. I couldn't have did it better myself, man. Yeah. So tell me this though. So what's your plans as of now? I know, so tell me about what after we got it down to what we got it to, what was the full spread and how did that work out?
What do you mean by that?
So what did we make on this whole deal?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we made a little over 12,000. So
Yeah.
we got
Awesome.
about 6,000. So I got like $6,200
Yeah.
from, which is good. And
You got your earnest money and everything.
like I was,
Right?
yeah, I got that back
Okay.
on there also. So altogether, it ended up being about 64 with the earnest money and the option money and everything.
Awesome.
But like we were talking about the other day, it doesn't pay to be secretive and be stingy, you know, because you know deals are out here. Whether you go out and get the deal or not, the deal is out there. Just
Exactly.
like this guy told me that 2 people called him before I did. So whether I had this deal or not, somebody else would have had it. You know,
Exactly.
if it wouldn't have went through with me, somebody else was gonna do it. You know, so
Exactly.
to be honest with you, I was just since this was my first deal, I didn't care how much I made. I didn't care if I ain't make nothing, you know. I just wanted to do it for the learning process because I hear that most of the success and the riches is into the learning process, you know. I just wanted to learn from the deal, and also, if I wouldn't have did the deal with you, I would have made less because really, I was just gonna make a quick $2,000 or so, and after that, man, I was gonna be good because my whole thing was I just wanted to learn how to do it, but since I reached out to you, you know, I reached out to help. It was a win-win. You got to get money. I got to get money. And I got to get more money than what I was going to get anyway. You know, I was just going to get a little change to run. You know, I was just like, I just want to get this deal over with. You know?
Exactly.
So it never pays to be stingy and you know, to be selfish like that. You know, because like you were saying the other day, guy you was working with, you know, y'all lost the whole deal because he was being kind of secretive. So.
Yeah, you can't do that, man. If you go into a JV, man, that's a marriage, man. You gotta see it all the way through and be open and transparent about it because, you know, we have a lot of tactics that we use that can help you. You know what I mean? And that newer investors haven't learned yet. That, you know, things that I bump my head on that can just save you, you know, tons of money, tons of effort, and probably make you even more money. You know, the only thing I regret is that next time, man, you're gonna have to get out there in the trenches with us and help sell this deal so you can learn the process. You know what I mean? That way, your next deals you do them on your own, and then you know you don't really need us no more. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, I love working with new investors, and you know, and if I can help you with however, because I mean, look, on my first couple of deals, I JV'd. So, because I instantly knew that, listen, you learn faster, you know what I mean, with somebody who's already done it, you know what I mean? And, you know, so I JV'd on a couple of my first couple of deals, and they went awesome, man. So congrats, man. I just want to say congrats to you, man. You know, and I see a bright future, man. So, you know, so what's your plans now? Are you planning on reinvesting your money, or are you gonna keep it? What's your plan?
I'm gonna reinvest some into marketing, but like we was talking about the Fortune Builder School thing. What helped me out was they forgot to charge me. Before the deal went through, they called me back. They said, "Man, we didn't charge you, you know." So they took the $5,000 or whatever. So a lot of it is already kind of spent. You know, I got to get my credit card balance back to at least a third or under. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't go down. So I got to spend at least $3,000 on that, and so I lost some money other ways. Like all together, I say. Now, nobody knew have to do this, but I kind of wanted to be sure I knew what I was doing. So altogether, I probably invested about $10,000 that I'm lost as far as starting the business up and education, you know. So
exactly
the $5,000 with the Fortune Builders thing, you know, money dealing with the Jay Morrison thing, and with most of the schooling, it was money, and also that getting my LLC started and getting this and that. So, but I would rather be over prepared than underprepared. That's just me.
100%, man. Hey, man, you can't really spend too much on your education. I mean, of course you can, but at the end of the day, look, man, it takes you further, man. It just does, and you either gonna pay for it in mistakes,
yeah,
you know what I mean, or you gonna pay for it up front. It's nowhere around it, man. So, listen, I paid pretty hefty for my education, and I'll do it all over again.
Yeah.
I made way more than what my education. Way more than what my education
Yeah.
investment was. So if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But yeah, so I'm happy for that, man. So you plan on just paying off some of your education, and then what type of marketing you want to do, and what's your plan?
I think I'm gonna just keep doing the cold calling. What I'm looking at now is internet video marketing on the internet.
Okay.
Like the other day, I see that it's not a lot of videos out because nobody want to get in front of the camera. Because I don't want to get in front of the camera. Every time I get myself on a video, man, I'm like, man, I don't want to be on this camera. But
Exactly.
my want to succeed is greater than that.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
I'm about to turn 30 in a minute, so I'm thinking to myself, hey, man,
Grown man.
Get busy, man.
Exactly. You grown man.
I'm looking at marketing with SEO stuff, and after that, I'm looking at continue to cold call. So
Nice.
that's my game plan right now.
Nice. What are you planning on doing for your website?
On my website, I plan on putting a video, like a We Buy Houses video, in the Houston area. I'm gonna try to market to multiple areas, especially areas that I don't see being marketed on. Somebody told me, in order to succeed, if you don't have the money, you have to do you have to be creative. You have to do what the other people don't do. So
Exactly.
Like little small towns around here, like they don't have any type of We Buy Houses video. So
Exactly.
looking for the small towns, that way when the small towns do want to sell their house and they type it in, they'll see my video come up and they'll trust me and reach out and call me. But I'll put that on my website.
Who's hosting your website? What?
I had Real Flow because I have an account with Real Flow, but I went to Own Carriage now.
Yeah, Own Carriage is better, man.
The top performers, so I had to pay the extra money for Own Carriage, and hopefully that pays off. Now I'm searchable with Real Flow. It's not Real Flow, but it's the fact that Own Carriage built in
the SEO.
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as I got on them, I can type my name on my website and I came up versus with Real Flow or with doing it myself, because with this business, you got to build a team or you got to have a lot of systems into place, in order to make up for your mistakes. And I'm looking at videos on how to market my videos because it's people that can get your video #1 in 24 hours on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know that. So I seen that and I typed in that on YouTube and I found out that people teaching you how to do that on YouTube. So I'm a big YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber all the way, man.
Man.
Much on YouTube, so it ain't funny. Most of my real estate education comes from YouTube. Like I found you from YouTube, so I'm a YouTube person. So I'm gonna try to do that, and I'm gonna try to get those videos ranking high, and and see what happens.
Definitely, man. Well, I'm glad, man. I'm glad to hear about your success, man, on your first deal. I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that, man. And and
I'm glad I was a part of it. I learned and I got more money.
Exactly. I still haven't even gotten a chance to see the house yet, man. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
Huh?
I was wondering have you seen it before?
I've never seen that house, man. Never seen it. But that's the blessing of having a solid team. My team is awesome, so I'm happy for you, man. So congrats. So I wanted to do this interview, man, just to kind of because I had never met you prior to YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, man, for us to do our first deal like that, and it. Because that was pretty quick. I think we got that one done in weeks, right?
It was about 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty quick, man. And to be honest, we really could have closed fast on that deal. But the way that they had it was going into an IRA. And I'm going to have to show you that too. That deal was going into a self-directed IRA. So when you have those types of deals, sometimes it takes a little while because the IRA people have to sign off on it. It's not just the person buying it. So that was the way that deal went down. So it was pretty cool, man. Well, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. I just wanted to kind of get on here and chat, break it down. You're gonna see this on the YouTube page, man, on my personal page. So I'll send you a link after this, man, so you can check it out and
What is
subscribe.
your page? Wonders One page or what?
Nah, this one won't be on that one. That's my business page.
Okay.
This one will be on my personal page. I'll send you a link to it. That way you can check it out. And that's where I'm gonna be doing like a lot of my real estate stuff from now.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be working on my personal page also. Well, I'm gonna be working on my business page first.
Yeah, get that right first. Yeah, man. Yeah, you want to work on your business part first. Get that structured, have your systems in place, start making some money, and then after that, you maybe can get into the branding stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I guess I would like to tell people was like the fact that I reached out to you because I seen the interview of you. So I knew you was in real estate, but I knew you. I seen a video about you just doing your first deal, and I knew it wasn't too long ago. So not that big. So I rather reach out to somebody like you who was not that big yet.
Exactly.
Reaching out because I see a lot of people only go for the big shots, and a lot of times that's how people don't get far. But if you I learned if you reach for the people who just like somebody might see this and they might reach out to me, and I might can help them. I probably help them better than what a big shot can help, because I don't got much on my plate, But
exactly.
when it's too big, I start to ease off. But I think more people start to reach out to them when they get big. But I start to ease back and I go for the small,
the more accessible people.
Yeah.
I just started, man. I just, believe it or not, I just started last year. So, I've only been doing this about a year, man. And the company has,
Is that when you start learning it?
What's that?
When did you start your education as far as learning it?
I started that maybe about a year prior to that.
Okay.
So but the thing was my education was a little all over the place, man. I was learning just business in general. It wasn't necessarily real estate specific. But once I got into the real estate lane, I just decided to do that. The good thing was that I joined a group local here called the Big Dogs. And that kind of accelerated me far beyond because I was instantly connected with seasoned investors, you know what I mean? And it was a bunch of them. And it wasn't sometimes you go to some of these reels, man, and it's everybody's pretty much a newbie, right? Yeah. But when you pay your money to join these other networks, these higher networks, what you find is you get more seasoned real investors. And I was just around a bunch of them, man. So I was like, JV here, JV there, network here, how you do this, how you do that. And then it just kind of accelerated my learning and my growth potential as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably the difference. So it looks like you were studying it not even long as what I was studying it, but you was able to get started and do your first deal sooner because you was around real successful people, versus me, I stayed in the learning curve for longer, before I started to reach out. Basically, you was my first local person that I reached out to network. You see, I did a deal somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I wish we would have met you on that first deal, man. We would have locked that thing up, man. We would have locked it up. Okay. It's all good, It's all good. We got this one. That's all matters. You know what I mean? So, definitely. Well, shoot, man. I ain't gonna hold you. I just wanted to kind of go over that. Any questions for me, man?
I had some, but how stuff slip your mind.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got my contact, man, so you can always hit me up if something pop up, man.
All right. I was gonna ask you when you plan on going full time and leaving your job, but you already told me that in December.
Yeah, December.
Do that.
Jump deuces to him,
I feel like if I get about 3 good ones, I'm gone.
That's all it takes, man. That's all it takes. Or get you.
First, I'm at Walmart. So you probably got something a little better going, a little more pleasurable.
The work is work, man. Work is work. The good thing about my job is that it's not, I got my own office. I pretty much run the whole hospital, man. To be honest with you, so I I don't have like a lot of pressures around me that kind of influence my thoughts. I can kind of do what I want to do. So that works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm still leaving. You know what I mean? I'm still leaving. Definitely.
Yeah. There's always something better. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you think you're gonna get into commercial?
Yeah, I am. Matter of fact, I had a lead last week on a commercial deal. I don't know if it's gonna come through or not. A realtor actually brought it to me, and she wants to work with me on it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man.
Right. What's the long-term game plan for you? Like,
you
interested in buying whole apartment buildings?
Definitely.
That's kind of like what I'm interested in.
Yeah. So my initial goal is I want to get this company started. Right now we're a team of 7. I have 7 people on the team, and I plan on, and that's full time, mostly full time. I have 2 people that are part time, and so once we get everything flowing to the max to where I want it, then what I'm gonna start doing is start buying apartment complexes, just knocking them off little by little,
Yeah.
And hopefully some people on the team could probably get some rentals going too, man. I'm hoping, especially my acquisitions and my dispositions managers. They're, they'll probably be making pretty good money too, so they'll probably be able to get some stuff too.
That's good. How did you meet them?
Well, one of them actually I met through. He's a realtor who does investment properties. So I met him in like I was getting ready to buy one of the properties that he had. I didn't end up buying that property because the price just wasn't really right. It was listed on the MLS. It just wasn't. It wasn't at that number that I needed it to be at.
But you built a good relationship.
But I built a good relationship.
Yeah.
And the same thing and the other one was a referral from actually one of my buyers. One of my buyers referred me another realtor who was hungry. And so he joined the team. And it's just been kind of clicking ever since.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, but get at me, man. It was nice talking to you, man. We're going to definitely have to do some more of these interviews, man, from time to time. And if you need me to jump on one of yours, that'd be great too. But I'm signing off from Byron, Wonder U.S. Property Group. We in this thing, and that's it, man. I guess just holler at me, man, anytime. Hit me up on the phone, and we'll chat it up. All right. I'll see y'all later. Deuces.